Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Legacy Years. So, this is the podcast where we talk about embracing both the joys and challenges of aging. And I'm here to share tips, stories, and insights to help you make the most of this meaningful time of life. And today, we're actually going to talk about a topic that could relate to just about anybody, although I do feel like it relates to those of us who are older more so than younger, simply because of our accumulation of things over time. And so I welcome today's guest, Lorraine. Lorraine, thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely glad to be here.
Awesome. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself and why you're uniquely qualified to talk about our stuff.
Well, professional organizing, and that is my realm of ability to help clients, but organizing anything and everything that comes in and out of their homes and their lives and their businesses. And so I've been doing this about 18 years. My company's called Get Organized, and we primarily service the Dallas Fort Worth area.
Great. I met Lorraine at a Saturday, a little workshop that one of my friends was doing. And I thought that the information that she talked about that we're going to talk about today was so interesting. And a lot of us think about, oh, we have stuff. What are we going to do? Are we going to have a garage sale? Do we have something that's worth anything? Maybe from our grandparents or, from our parents. And some of the stuff that you shared, I had never heard before. So I'm excited to be talking about this today. And if you have some stuff that you've been thinking about that you want to um, get rid of. And I think that's a big thing these days. Everybody's talking about minimizing the clutter in their lives. Lorraine's got some great tips for you. Grab a pen, grab some paper. You're probably going to want to write down some things. So, Lorraine, let's just kind of start getting into it. So, if someone came to you, a client, and said, I really just need to get rid of some things. It's cluttering my life, it's cluttering my brain, it's cluttering my life, but they would like not to get rid of stuff and just give it away, but maybe they would like to make a little money, which I think is also important right now. People are struggling. What would be some advice that you would give them? Let's kind of talk about that first.
Sure. The first thing I would say is I always look at the effort given versus the price gained. This is incredibly important to think about because just saying you're going to sell something is not always as easy as it sounds coming out of your mouth. It's just not. There's
Yeah.
some people don't like people coming to their home to pick up things. Sometimes people don't want to deal with the communication that's back and forth when you're, whether that be through, online on the computer or through an app on your phone. Sometimes people just don't want to deal with it. And then you have the other big elephant in the room is whatever you're selling in many cases has to get to maybe, let's just say, a consignment. Well, how heavy, how large is it? Do I have to
Yeah.
hire someone? I mean, there's a lot of things to think about more than just having a garage sale or an estate sale. There's other ways to sell things. But again, let the theme of this be look at the effort given versus the price gain. That's something you got to ask yourself when you're looking at each individual piece you want to get rid of and possibly get money for.
Yeah. And I thought that you gave some pretty cool ways if people aren't sure of the value of something to maybe determine that. Can you share a couple of those tips with us about, well, I've got this thing. Is it worth anything?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So if you're in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and again, I'm sure this company will take anything from anywhere, but particularly it's convenient to get it there if you live in the Metroplex. There is an auction house called Heritage Auction. I think their website is ha.com. Very simple, ha.com. If you think you have an item that might be worth some money, they offer a free service. I'm sure you're going to have to schedule it with them. It probably is going to have to send some photos in where they will determine the value of the item and if it's, worth selling. And how they make their money is obviously auctioning off that item. So if you choose to auction off or sell it through their services, of course, they're going to take a percentage of that. Um, but it lets people, people think, oh, this is so old, it should be worth a lot.
Right.
And that's not always the case. But,
No.
they offer this free estimation services, and it's for people that are interested in knowing. I think it's, worthy of looking into what they can help you with. The other one, and I did not know about this until about 2 years ago when my father passed away. Me and my daughter-in-law went through his entire home, and there were so many old things. I mean, from the Korean War and just on. And she introduced me to Google Lens. And it was an incredible way to take a picture of something. And that picture sort of, went through the internet and tried to find items that look like that. And you could see very similar or very exactly alike. And you can see what they're selling for based on various websites all over the internet of what people are asking to buy it for or trying to sell it for, which
Right.
gave you an idea, a little bit of the history, gave you a little bit of idea of the value. And those are two resources that I would definitely recommend.
Yeah, I love the heritage auction concept because sometimes it's not just about selling something, but reaching the market that wants to buy something.
Yes, that is true. You can actually buy in, sell there.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So when you think about other ways that folks can move items, sell items, let's talk about some of those other sites and or ideas for maybe something that's not a heritage item, but maybe something that's going to be less costly, less expensive. Where could folks do that kind of thing?
Well, if let me go back just a little bit and say, you're probably considering, if you're listening, you're probably considering maybe a garage sale or estate sale, and they do have their purposes and ways that would be beneficial. Um, I would, unless you're going a high end estate sale, which is normally a certain dollar amount that that estate sale company is going to require you to have. It might be beneficial for you to sell on your own through some of these places we're about to talk about, the higher end items, because you're going to probably make more, and then sell the rest of the stuff like garage sale stuff. And I
Got it.
think, just taking those high end items. So a couple of them, and I have them listed over here. A couple of them is what everyone probably knows is Facebook Marketplace. That is probably the number one place to resell and get a local audience. And let me just say, the the very unique thing about this is when you say Facebook Marketplaces, if you're trying to sell something unique, like example, a vintage dress that maybe you inherited from your grandmother and it's very old, there's actually groups on Facebook that are vintage societies, vintage girls of Dallas or vintage association of Fort Worth, that you can go in there and become a member of these groups, which basically means you just have access to see the feeds back and forth, the messages of people selling different things, and you have the ability to list things on there. So if you have a vintage dress, find the vintage groups to list it on, because these are going to be your audience. These are going to be the people that really want your items. My daughter-in-law does estate sales, loves to shop them. She found what she called an I Love Lucy dress, very fitted at the top and sort of goes out at the bottom. She bought it I under 100. She sold it on one of those vintage Facebook pages for $650. There is a market out there. And again, just because it's old doesn't mean it's valuable, but there's a market. So Facebook Marketplace, find the groups. If you're selling a car or motorcycle, get into those types of groups. You're better off to getting more people interested in your item. Another one is Nextdoor. I'm sure you have Nextdoor or have access to it. It is your neighborhoods around you, not just your neighborhood, but neighborhoods around you. And you can list things for dollar amount, yeah, a price. You can list things that are free. And that's a way, it's free to sell it on there.
Right.
Why would you not? eBay, tried and true eBay. You're looking at, it's amazing. Sometimes, like, for example, we had a scooter, like a mobile scooter that we had during a medical procedure, and we tried, there was a part that was bad. Well, where do you go for parts? Some and little various objects. eBay was a great place to go and look. People sell all kinds of stuff. Still a very good way to sell things, but you got to be willing to ship it. Um, Another one that's like Facebook Marketplace is called OfferUp. It's not as popular, but it's definitely has a presence there. Replacements.com. This is where you can see sell your china. This is a big thing. I think you and I talked about this.
Yeah, we did.
Selling your china. People paid really good money for their china and they believe that it's going to sell for a lot. But as you know, it doesn't sell for very much. Sometimes $20 is set. You'll be a blessed person to get 50, unless it's a rare, extremely rare collection or pieces. So, um, now if you, on the other hand, if you are missing a piece and you want to keep your china set together, this is another website you can buy and sell on there. But again, how are you going to get your china there? China's heavy, right? Are you going to ship
Yeah.
it? So, it's called replacements.com. Declutter, this is spelled a unique way, DECLUTTR.com. This is more for technology type pieces, tech type pieces.
Okay.
Very, very specific type of resale. Sellbackyourbooks.com. That's another, people have lots of books. If you're going to take them locally to like a half price bookstore, I've always been told by the half price bookstore management that the one on Northwest Highway in Dallas area will give you the most money. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get double the value, but the larger the store, the more they'll pay for the books, whatever reasoning behind that was. I don't know.
Okay.
Some items can be sold on Etsy.com, though they take a percentage. So keep in mind, some of these places are going to take a percentage and some are just, no, they're not. The other one, I think it's pronounced Mercari, Mercari,
Okay.
Mercari.com. This is for hiring clothing, more accessories type things. Freecycle.org, a great, very basic platform. You'll see a lot of crazy things. People are just trying to get out of their home. They'll give it for free. That's the idea, right? Is to get someone to come pick up that heavy treadmill that's 20 years old. Still works great for someone, but you need someone to get it out of there. Or a jungle gym. The grandkids played on a jungle gym in your backyard and you got to get rid of it. Have someone else take it apart. It's a really good place to find people. Though the same thing would be great. You could list on Facebook Marketplace or next door, free for pickup too. And then, I could go on and on. I'll stop and let you comment, but there's just so many resources out there.
Yeah, you're good. No, I like the free cycle and the, come pick up for free that you were talking about, just because we are such a wasteful society at times. And sometimes I find myself holding on to stuff because I'm like, I just can't throw it away.
Yes.
But if you think about giving it away and someone else is going to use it and benefit from it, I wholeheartedly like that concept.
Yes, yes. It's there's a lot of emotions wrapped around, and with seniors in general, a lot of times when they are, if they're transitioning to downsizing, which doesn't have to necessarily be a senior to do that. People downsize way before they reach those years. But sometimes it can be all about loss to them, like getting rid of things, or leaving their home, they're giving up their items. And really I just get so excited to talk to someone that I go buy something from that's old, especially my daughter-in-law. We'll just sit there and we'll talk about the history of it. I want to know that now, why my family, my parents, my whoever has that item is alive, that can tell me about it. And it does add such value to especially the seniors, when they know somebody else is going to appreciate it and carry that on.
Yeah. And I find that with my mom too. And if she's watching, she 100% knows this is true. It doesn't matter what it is in her home, but if her daughters or her grandkids say, "Oh my gosh, Mimi, I love that." She's like, "You can have it." And it brings her a lot of joy to see someone else enjoying the things that she enjoyed at one point. But she definitely has a lot of stuff. But that's one way that I see her getting rid of stuff is, "Oh my gosh, somebody else wants it. I would love for them to have it," kind of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have a few others here. We have like in our company, we have like I think it's like an 88-page Excel document with all
Oh,
kinds of
wow.
resources for our clients, whatever they might need. And I highlighted a few more if you want me to go over
Yeah,
them.
for sure. Let's hear them.
So, one of them, if you have a doll collection, sometimes you see that a doll collection. And I'm gonna get my reading glasses here. Um, this is, I know the English language, but some of these websites. So this one is THERIAULTS.com. And
Okay.
they will appraise dolls by email and they can sell them online for you. That's really great especially if you don't know what you have.
Right.
Um, Another great website is and I learned about this about a year ago and I was so impressed. It was called artifacts.com. And let me just say it's spelled ARTIFCTS.com. It's nationwide. It's an online website where you can save memories when you're decluttering and maybe even selling some of these items. You don't sell them on their platform, but you take photos and you can group items together. You can add stories. You can share these stories of these items with individual members of your family using private connections. Um, Really great. Now, this is a paid service if you do too many a year. But it's a great way to preserve the memory of those items without having, to keep it. And I
Yeah.
love it's just a really well done website, which is also an app. There's obviously furniture consignment stores. Furniturebyconsignment.com is one in the Dallas Fort Worth area. You wide selection of values of brands and furnitures, antiques and accessories and home furnishings. A lot of these consignment companies will want you to take pictures of your item, email it in. There's no use just taking it to their front door and saying you
Right.
want it. So be prepared to communicate via email and show them what you have, and then they will determine. Now, remember, they set the price. They also mark it down every 30 days because the idea is to push it through and get it out within 90 days. But those are just a couple of the other ones
Yeah.
that I had on here.
So you just kind of live with whatever they're going to sell it for.
Correct. You got to,
Yeah.
and let's just say it doesn't sell. What's the plan? Are you picking it back up? Can you pick it back up? Will it cost you a fee to pick it back up if someone else does it?
Mhm.
They probably in most cases donate a lot of this stuff to charity if people don't want to pick it back up. But just be prepared that you're asking someone to sell it and they put a price on it and then lower that every 30 days.
Yeah. So if somebody is thinking about, I mean, that's a lot of information that we just went over. If someone's thinking about what should I do, what are the things that they need to think about in terms of if you are prepared to do this and this might be the great site for you, or this might be the way for you to go. But if you're not, you may want to stick with, XYZ.
So I had mentioned earlier, I use, if I didn't mention it, I use Facebook Marketplace. And what I used to do garage sales a lot, like almost yearly. And as my family has gotten older and we're now empty nesters, I just don't want to put the effort in for $300 on a weekend. So
Right.
my number one go-to place is Facebook Marketplace. That is the number one. Again, you've got to be willing to communicate with multiple people that may be interested in the item but never show up when they say they're going to show up. One rule of thumb I will say is never give your home address when they're wanting to know where to pick it up at. I always say, listen, when you're on your way, message me through the app, and I'll give you the address. And I always make sure my husband's home, right? Sometimes you can even meet them somewhere. I don't prefer to meet them. There's also, I'm sure you've heard, porch pickup, where you don't even have to interface with the person. As long as the item is a lower value item, I'll just say slip the money under the doormat. I'll leave the item on the porch. I've never been done wrong. I mean, it's always
Okay.
been really safe. I've always gotten my money. But Facebook Marketplace is really easy. And again, so instead of having those garage sales, why not just sell the larger pieces of items? Anything I would say $20 and up, sell on there. I have probably 4 or 5 things listed now. I have an old cell phone that was I want to say a burner phone, like it's some kind of murder mystery or something,
Like you're a spy.
a spy movie. It's my burner phone. I don't know why that came to mind, but my husband bought this phone. He had his broke on a trip, so he went and bought this cheap burner phone and used it for like a week until his other one came in the mail. And I just sold it. It's been on the Facebook Marketplace for like 3 weeks, and a lady came over and $50, we sold it.
She bought her a burner phone.
That's right. Exactly. She needed one. I wonder what she's up to. So, I mean, I have a treadmill on there now. I have, I don't know, I have just various things on there. And, I'll get $50, $20, $100, a week sometimes. Um, and I didn't have to do too much, but you do have to be willing to communicate and be okay that sometimes people are going to stand you up. But that's my number
Yeah,
one place right now.
got it. And so, I mean, it's good to hear you say you've never had an issue because if you think about a lot of older adults might be scared to have somebody come to their house. So maybe just when they know somebody else is going to be there, then they give the address or porch, pick up like you mentioned. They don't have to open the door.
You can, one of the things that, people don't talk about very much is, maybe you have a grandchild or a neighbor, an old enough adult neighbor, like, high schooler, that they would be willing, to be able to list these for you, or even at the very least, pay them the kid a percentage to have it picked up as long as their parents were home. Like, you can work out some creative ways if you don't
Yeah.
feel. Again, you can meet people someplace in a very public. I bought a sewing machine off of Facebook Marketplace one time for $40, and my granddaughter and I just love it. And we met in a Walmart parking lot to pay for it in exchange. So it doesn't always have to be your home.
Yeah, that's great. I think that may give people some more bravery to go out and do something like that.
Yes.
So let's say that you've got stuff that you just can't sell, but you need someone to pick it up. Do you have any suggestions for them on organizations that will come pick up items from them that they want to get rid of? Like, sometimes older adults can't carry that stuff out or, you know, don't want to mess with it. Any thoughts there?
Well, depending on how heavy and bulky the items are, some people think, well, I got to have a junk hauler and pay them. You really don't. You really don't have to do that. Very rare cases. But if you do have those big, heavy items that you can't get out, sometimes some of the donation places will come pick in your home, come in and get like couches and stuff. I will
Yeah.
say anything like tube TVs, which hopefully no one has those anymore, but tube TVs, recycle them. No one wants them. No one's going to pick them up. Wooden entertainment centers. No one's going to want. The Salvation Army, all them will not pick it up. Best thing is to put it on your front curb and say free.
Yeah.
I don't care if you got it in furniture in the raw 20 years ago and it was hand stained. No one wants them. You just can't sell them. So those are things to keep in mind when you're trying to get rid of something. It's got to be something that they're going to want. Also, be very specific. Some places, when you go and you schedule a pickup at your home, like I said, many of them will come in your home, but clarify that they will only pick up what you have listed. I had a
Okay.
pickup and I had 2 extra trash bags, and I had put 4 trash bags full of stuff in my inquiry, and I had 6. They wouldn't take the other 2. And the reason why was because they estimate what goes on their truck every day, and they have to they've got to make room for what they're picking up.
Makes
So
sense.
be very specific if it asks for every individual item. Don't assume they're going to just pick it up. But yeah, I mean, there is a plethora of organizations out there, leukemia places, veterans places. There is very specific type of places. Like, let's say you had a wedding dress, and I can't get this off the top of my head right now, but you could do a search for wedding dresses. I'm going to look this up while I'm talking. If you wanted to give away to an organization that someone needs wedding dresses, oh, here it is right here. There is a place called pre-owned wedding dresses.com. They take wedding dresses, also Brides Across America and Angel Gowns. All these are places that will take them. You can drop them off. They may not purchase them, but you're going to be very specific to a charity that
So,
uses them versus just giving it to Goodwill. So
right.
anyway, you just have to look at what you want. I will say that if you have some trash that's bulky, things that you don't think that will sell, again, try not to use the junk hauler places. I mean, nothing's wrong with them; they're just expensive. Most
Yeah.
of the time, if you're in the cities, your city has a bulk pickup option that's either free that you pay for through your taxes, or very, very cheap, like $20 added to your water bill versus, a couple hundred from a junk hauling place if it truly is unsellable.
Got it. Well, great. Thank you, Lorraine.
Welcome.
You gave people a lot of good information. I really appreciate you being on today and sharing your wisdom with us. And if folks needed a little bit more help and they wanted to say, you know what, I can't do any of this myself, maybe I need Lorraine to come over. Can you tell people how they get a hold of you?
Yes, our website is getorganized.ws. So instead of .com, it's .ws, like website. And
Okay.
just inquire through our website, and we service all the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We do packing, unpacking, senior downsizing. The list could go on of the services that we do, but we have great teams of organizers that go in there and help through all many different processes of these families' lives.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having me.
You bet.